So the summer changes, the winter also changes. The foundation on which every change takes place is the truth. That is what was coming to my, my yes, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. We have to remember that non-verbal awareness should enter into our mind. Why? It should enter into our mind. Mind is already crazy all the time. Mind is looking for the objects in the world for seeking a pleasure. Why it is constantly seeking a pleasure and why it is wandering? Because the mind knows this pleasure is short lived. So, what it is searching? It is searching the permanent peace and happiness. We need simply and clear understanding. It is looking at permanent peace and happiness. Clear. Okay. So it is looking permanent peace and happiness. I have tried waking up, sleeping, dreaming. I have tried eating pasta or any food. I have tried to have a particular car in possession, but peace and happiness are elusive. So once that understanding is clear, many people say, I understand that. So I understand that, still I'm suffering. Why I'm suffering? Why I'm suffering? Just looking at the understanding. So Master says that whatever is created, you create a pleasure, it will come to an end. Body is created, it will die. Now, what about I woke up? Yeah, waking up will die in sleep. We don't have control. Think, just we have to contemplate and reflect on this understanding. Sleep. Can I sleep 24 hours? Answer is no. Can I remain awake 24 hours by 7? No. So whatever does not remain 24 by 7 will die its own death. So what I'm looking for? I'm looking for permanent peace and happiness. So is permanent peace and happiness independent, free? That is what we need to discover. So it means that we are totally independent? No. I depend on the food. I depend on clothes. Huh? There is a cold, I have to wear the warm clothes. Then what is the difference between that awakened state? Oh, something came to my mind, so I'm just, and then we will, it is related to the topic. You see that I depend on the food. I'm hungry, I eat the food and it is gone. So I can repeat it when I'm hungry. So I depend on the things which is for physical survival. So what is the search in Eastern wisdom? Search in Eastern wisdom, what I want 24 by 7. Do I want to eat 24 by 7, sleep 24 by 7, sex 24 by 7? Answer is big no. So what I don't need 24 by 7, it is a need. It is a necessity, but it is not the goal. Where is the goal? I want peace 24 by 7. I want freedom from anxiety 24 by 7. I want freedom from the fear 24 by 7. I want love 24 by 7. What is that? Unconditional. Do you see that? I'm just putting an argument so that you can think of it. So, in order to look for, in order to search that permanent peace and happiness, love, truth, and will, what do you mean by truth? That is neither created nor destroyed. What is created and destroyed cannot be called as an absolute truth. So we create pleasure, we sometimes we create pain. Unknowingly, we are searching for pleasure and we'll end up in pain. So whatever is created will come to an end. Did you get a message? So we are in search for what is uncreated, what is beyond the cause and effect, what never dies, what is uncreated. It will never be born. It will never die. That is the message in a simple way expressed by our great master who has written this text, Panhcdasi. So just to remind yourself the 5 steps. Adhikari, the qualified seeker, then approaching the teacher with the humility. Why to approach the teacher with the humility? Why not with an arrogance? Arrogance means ego. It means I-ness. That I-ness is constantly engaged in what is created and what is born and what will die. So the humility means that I keep aside my ego. That whatever I have known in the world of creation. And this journey is the world of what is uncreated. That is our real self. That is our consciousness. Just, I'm making simpler. So then you listen to the third point. You have already understood the 5 stages. I become a qualified seeker. I approach the teacher with the humility. That means mind is open, intellect is ready to grasp it. And then you listen to these principles, so that while listening, you have the purity of the mind. Satasangatve nisasangatvam. I told you, listening and learning, detachment to dispassion to steadiness of the mind. So we need only a clear understanding and awareness. Did you find anything which is uncreated? No. Learn the Eastern wisdom. Contemplate and reflect. Contemplate and reflect. And so that when you you reflect, continuously you reflect and you reflect, what happens? The mind moves into the state of the steadiness. It is already absorbed into meditation, whether your eyes are open or closed, whether you are walking or talking, whether you are sitting at home or in the office. And the 5th one, the result is awakening and realization. This is what the master says. We have already understood in the last almost many sessions that what are the 4 challenges we have to address, especially the doubt regarding, I have already explained. And then it results into a 360-degree understanding. So what we have been doing in the verse 1 and the 2, the first 2 parts are explained beautifully, that I should keep aside ego, I should have the 4-fold practices. And then we come to, in the verse number from 3 to 6, he explains that there is a pure consciousness. Because of that consciousness, there is a manifestation of the waking state, manifestation of a sleep state, manifestation of a dream state. Because they are manifested, they are created. So waking state dies in the sleep, sleep dies in the dream, dream again dies into the waking state. Why? Because we cannot sleep for 24 hours. But in the presence of the consciousness, so that consciousness seems to be uncreated. And that consciousness is subjective, hence I am pure consciousness. Simple. Simple logic. Now let us deeply understand it in a simple language. So now, in a waking state, what is that waking state? Waking state, 5 sense organs are active, check. 5 motor organs are ready to be active, 10. 5 prana, the different activities are going, I can move my hand, I speak, and so my legs move. So the 5 prana is active, 15. And mind, memory, intellect, and ego. So these are 19 elements are active in the waking state. I'm just making go a little deeper. We have to contemplate. 19. So because of these 19 elements, I can see you as an object. I can see I can feel cold. I can see how far it is, or a distance. All those objects and the thoughts happens in the waking state. But all these 19 elements are different and separate from the consciousness. Tell me. I become aware only because the consciousness is in the background. Does anything happen to that consciousness? No. It is independent, uncreated. Do you think that the mind created consciousness or sense organs created consciousness? Answer is no. So that background consciousness is there. That is uncreated. The rest are created because my eyes were created, and as the aging process begins, sometimes we have cataract, sometimes. That's why I'm wearing the glasses. Short-sighted. You see, they are constantly changing. Now let us look at summarizing. Again, I'm summarizing so that you can easily digest. Understand the dream state. So what happens in the dream state? Dream state. Are the 5 sense organs active? No. Motor organs are active? No. So everything happening in the virtual. Mind is active? Yes. Memory is active? Yes. There's a dream. I is active? Yes. The body is active? No. This physical body is not active. The dreamer creates its own virtual body. Are you getting it? This is how this master makes us understand. But dreamer, I'm aware of the dream. Behind the dream and the dreamer and the dreaming, that consciousness is still present, and that is unchanging, uncreated. The same consciousness which was present in the waking state, the same consciousness is also present in the clear. So the master says that one unitary consciousness which is uncreated does not undergo a change, neither created nor destroyed, is present in a waking state, in a sleep state, and also in a dream state and sleep. What is the sleep state? Sleep state means that neither I'm aware of the body nor aware of the mind. Do I create the sleep state, or I cannot sleep for 24 by 7 if I had created. Then I can definitely sleep for 24 by 7. Did I create the waking state? We think of it. The waking state will absorb into dream state or sleep state. The sleep state again will die. So constantly we say days, weeks, months, and years. All the three states are constantly changing. Behind there is a consciousness. Behind there is a consciousness. So what do I experience in the sleep state? I experience nothing. What it means? I experience an absence of objects that you cannot deny. I experience also the peace and relaxation and calmness. How do I know it? I know it when I return to the waking state. Look at it. Neither, waking state does not know the sleep state does not know the waking state, dream state does not know the other two states, but one consciousness that continues to remain present, unchanging in all the three states. There is an underlying awareness or consciousness that witnesses all the three states. Just it witnesses the three states. It does not become a part of it. But yes, it manifests, it expresses. In the presence of the consciousness, waking state, in the presence of the consciousness, dream state, in the presence of the sleep consciousness. That is how I know in a waking state that I had slept well. No, you have already explained it before. It is from this understanding we have to go a little deeper. That the waking, dream, and the sleep states are the objects, are the known. So there is one knower of all the three states. There are not three knowers. And that knower is the consciousness. This is what the conclusion is. This is what the conclusion is. You have a water everywhere. You have one tide here, second tide at a distance, and third tide. These three waves are different. So we are looking only the sleep, dream, and the waking state. We are not looking what is beneath it. There is only one water. One water. So that water, that is the knower, remains unchanged while the known, while the waking changes, waking state changes, dream state changes, the sleep state changes. So the master says, understand the nature of the self. Whatever I have left, we will go with each verse. I'm just again laying a clear and a deeper foundation so that you can instantly, when you contemplate and reflect, oh, that is what it is. So the master says there is one unchanging witness of all experiences, whether pleasant or unpleasant. It is something, there is a water. So one wave takes place here, second wave takes place here, third wave. So it is the same one unitary consciousness. The dream state takes place, sleep state takes place, waking state takes place. So now the waking merges into the sleep, sleep merges into the dream, dream merges into the wake. It is on the surface. It is the object. It is the known. And behind that, beneath that, there is one consciousness. So this master has explained in the middle, but it is better to talk about that now so that you can easily reflect and contemplate all the time. What is that? Tell me something about the consciousness. So there are 5 or 6 traits of the consciousness you remember, and then you compare it with the waking state, compare it with the dream state, compare it with the sleeping state, and things become clear. First, consciousness is not the part of a thought. Consciousness is not a part of a thought. Consciousness is not a property of thought. Second, third, consciousness is not a product of thought. You stop thinking, still you have a consciousness. Do you see that? Is it not our experience? Yes, it is our experience. So this is not a part of a thought. Consciousness is not a property of a thought. Consciousness is not a product of a thought. Part, property, product. Remember the 3P. So if it is not a part, property, and a product of a thought, it means consciousness is different from a thought. It is only the thought by which I know it's a waking state, it's a dream state. It is, oh, yes. So it is independent, yes. But even we can conclude consciousness is not limited by a thought. Remember, it cannot be limited. And now the 5th, which this master brings, is such a beautiful, it goes deep into it. Master says consciousness pervades the thought and independent of the thought. Consciousness, when associated with a thought, creates an experience. I'm awake and I'm in a waking state. This is a thought. But in that thought, consciousness is pervading. If the consciousness is not pervading, I cannot express it. Do you see that? The master says, hence I am pure consciousness. Hence I am pure consciousness. This is what the master is talking about. I will take up the 3rd verse, 4th verse as it is, but I'm just laying the foundation. So consciousness is independent, free from the thought, objects, and perception. Consciousness is independent. What is independent can only be the absolute truth. What is dependent cannot be the real self, cannot be the absolute truth. If it is dependent, well, wave depends on the water. It cannot be. Do you see that? Clay pot depends on the clay. Ice depends on the water. So the master concludes consciousness is independent, one free from the thoughts, objects, and perception. Perception through the mind and through the sense organ. It is independent. It is independent. But experience is the result of thought plus consciousness. Going slowly. You should want to have a clear attention, total attention. Experience is the result of thought plus consciousness. Can you have any experience without a thought? Give me. Any experience. When you are sharing your experience, it is a thought. I am upset. I have a heaviness. I have a headache. That's why I'm not attending a session. Very good. You'll have more headache. Huh? See, So what I said, but experience is the result of thought plus consciousness. Now let me give you an example. If a clay pot is seen, I see the clay pot, it generates a pot thought, and a pot thought is pervaded by the consciousness. So when the pot thought is pervaded by the consciousness, I say, here is a pot. That is my experience. That is my perception. Are you clear? We are still understanding consciousness is independent of the waking state, dream state, and sleep state. Only you need an understanding, very understanding that you are independent, that consciousness is independent of the three. You are already into the state of meditation. So here in this example, we can say consciousness is not a part, product, and property of a thought. Thought can generate the experiences because thought is inert. Now let us go a little deeper. We are going deeper so that you can easily understand these verses. That's why I have not taken up those verses. I'm just laying a foundation because thought is inert. If consciousness is a part, then consciousness will also be inert. Inert has a property of inertness. Hence, consciousness is not a product of a thought because thought cannot have the consciousness. It pervades. Water pervades in the wave. Consciousness is independent. That is what we are trying to understand. Every time you ask if consciousness is a part, is it a product? It is a property of a thought? Answer is big no. In perception, consciousness as thought appears to be associated with an object. What if I am independent of thought? I basically am independent of a thought, but we are trying to analyze and observe. Then what I am, then what? I am free, freedom from the mind. If I recognize that I'm independent of the thought, it means I am free, freedom from the mind here and now. But the underlying consciousness is still present, and that underlying consciousness is I am, is the real I. Thought is mind, mind is matter. Thought cannot have a nature of the consciousness. In the presence of the consciousness, thought is presented to the mind and experienced. Thought is mind. Mind is matter. Thought cannot have the nature of the consciousness. We are putting a cause and effect logic. That is what our science picks up. So once you pick up this logic and understand, and you maintain that, oh, let me continue to experience. I'm speaking, yes, I'm expressing in the form of a thought, but if the consciousness is not there, I cannot express any thought. And that consciousness does not undergo any change. The thought gets associated with the feeling. Feeling is an object. It is external. It is not a part, product, and property of the consciousness. Consciousness cannot be the part, product, and property of the you have to reflect a million times. What it means, you have to reflect until your mind says, I got it. And when the mind says, I got it, stay there. So when you are walking, talking, eating, you see that there is something independent consciousness which is already there. That's why I said million of times. So what is now let me translate into operating principles. Master has done much later. Simple operating principle. Knowledge is equal to object plus knowledge of an object plus a knower plus consciousness. Take some example. Take an example. I know David. So that is the knowledge. So this is the thought. So what is in there in that knowledge? Object. Who is object? David. Plus knowledge of an object. So one is object, and then I know the object, know the David. Plus a knower. Who is the knower? The I-ness, mind. But behind that, plus consciousness. I have broken that in for a simplification. Anything, any knowledge that you have, it has four elements: object, knowledge of that object, knower, plus consciousness. I know Jerry, I know Dennis. So now the object has changed, knowledge of an object has changed. The knower has changed. Why the knower has changed? That I-ness is a certain feeling towards every object. It's a different feeling. What does not change? Consciousness. Do you see that? I know Terry. I know car. Any thought. Thought expresses. Thought is a product of knowledge. Any thought. Or do you know French? I don't know French. That is also a knowledge. What is the knowledge? That I don't know French? What a great master he is. The way he gives the interpretation and explains in a simple way. So I brought future principles here so that it becomes easy to understand what? To understand the waking state. That is what. So tell me what you know. And you break up into the four parts. Do you know your house? Yes. House plus knowledge of the house plus the knower plus the consciousness. Do you know your honey? Yes. Honey is an object, knowledge of the honey plus the knower plus the consciousness. Now you see in every thought, in every knowledge, consciousness does not change. The object has changed. Knowledge of an object has changed. The knower has changed. Consciousness did not change. That is what the waking state is. That is how we have to understand the waking state. So the master says such a beautiful, we used to sing Shabda Sparsha Dayu Vedya Vechitra Ujagari Prathak Tato Vibhakta Tat Samvid Ekarupyanya Bhidyate. That is the third verse I'm talking about. He talks about the waking state. So what is the waking state? What he says? He says that sound, touch, perception through the eyes, taste and smell, all the five sense organs, they have respective objects. So they are the object of knowledge. Are you getting it? I believe so. You are getting it. If not, then you have to listen to it. Five sense organs. And so every sense organ has its object. And that is the object of the knowledge. I know the computer, I see the monitor, I see you all. I don't hear you, but yes, I see you all. So, eyes, objects, ears, sound, nose, smell, tongue, taste, skin, touch. The master says, Shabda, Sparsha, Dayo, Vidya, knowledge. I get the knowledge of are objects of knowledge. How in which state I get the object of knowledge? In the perception or knowledge in the waking state. They are seen to be different from each other. Pay attention. Did you get it? What Master says. After laying such a strong foundation, now I'm explaining it, explaining the verse. The Master says, due to their perception in a waking state, they are seen to be different from each other. David is different from Jerry, is different from Stephen, different from Brandy, different from Dennis. You see, objects are different. They are seen to be different from one another. Computer is different from you all. Monitor is different. Oh, you see that? So, objects are different. Knowledge of objects are different. Experiences of that is different. That is different. That is in the third line, totally different from them. Objects are totally different from one another. But behind that, there is only one consciousness. This is what the master is saying. So our focus remains on outside. Oh, for example, oh, this human being is good and that is bad and this is high and this is low. Or my computer is better than yours and etc. etc. So my focus remains only outside on the objects. But who perceives the object, who is the perceiver, who is the knower, I lose that. I lose my awareness. And so I lose my awareness. It means I cannot recognize who is the knower, and that knower is the consciousness. So in the fourth line, Master said, due to its homogeneity or uniform nature, consciousness does not differ. Consciousness remains the same. Consciousness does not change. So it means operating principle, knower in the known. Knower in the known. Another operating principle, knowledge of anything is equal to object plus knowledge of an object plus the knower plus the consciousness. Here the knower is the I-ness, but behind that there is only one real knower, that is consciousness. When the knowledge takes place, let us go little more deeper. When the knowledge takes place, when there is an object, that object may be in pain in the knee. That object may be $1 million. That object may be honey. Do you see that? When the knowledge takes place. Knowledge takes place when there is an object and the knower. Knowledge of an object. Now, what is knowledge of an object? It is my experience. Object and knower. Knower never changes. If it changes, it is a false knower. That is what we need to inquire. If the knower changes, it means it may be either the sense organ or it may be the mind. So I have to go deeper and see that if the knower remains the same, even though there are variety of objects, there are variety of experiences. What happens? I have a different feeling for the honey, and or everyone has a different feeling for the honey or different feeling for the parents and the mother. But in that experiences, it is the mind, past experiences is working. It is not the real knower. It is the transactional reality. Behind that, there is only one consciousness. Knower cannot become the known. Now, this is the last and the most important principle, Master says. That real knower cannot become the known. False knower, sometimes it acts as a known, sometimes it acts as a knower. How can you say that? I see you through my eyes. So sense organs are the knower at this time. But behind that sense organ, there is a mind. For the mind, eyes are the known, eyes are the object. Good. Eyes are the object. Okay, I know that my mind is upset. Who knows this? There is a knower behind the mind. Now the mind has become an object, mind has become the known. So what is the reality? It is the consciousness. It is that consciousness. And by simply understanding and abiding in that consciousness is what the highest meditation is. Master says understanding objects of perception of all five sense organs. They have different, are distinct from each other. Sound is different from seeing. Seeing is different from smell. Smell is different from the taste. Taste is different from the skin. But still, so objects are different. Experiences are different. Only one consciousness behind. You minus consciousness of millions and billions of experiences that we have. It does not make any sense. Consciousness is uniform, remains uniform and unchanging. Who is that? I am. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Ocean and its waves. Ocean and its waves. Just contemplate and reflect. Look at the ocean water. Oh, millions of waves you might have experienced many times in the past. Recall the past. Oh, the waves rise, waves fall. Waves rise, waves fall. Oh, and these are the objects. Knowledge of an object is the wave. And the knower says, oh, this wave is smaller, this wave is the bigger. Plus consciousness, that consciousness is the water. Water does not change. It remains same. Oh, it remains same. Yes. It is like the mirror and its reflections. Consciousness is like a clear mirror, reflecting various objects, reflecting many objects without being affected by them. Reflection can change. You stand before the mirror. Mirror shows you as an object. I stand before the mirror. Mirror says, here is an object, but mirror as such does not change. That is the nature of the real self. That is the real I. That is me. That is consciousness. But the mirror remains unaltered, unchanged. Oh, so you are living, you are aware of that state. Look at the entire body. Look, oh, are you talking about looking at an object, which is the body? Knowledge of an object, which is the body? The knower recognizes that I am the body. That knower is I-ness. But the consciousness, awareness, if that awareness is absent, there is no object of knowledge, and no knower. Look at it. Oh, the unchanging nature of that consciousness. So, what happens? Our mind, that is why our master says our mind is so much impure. It takes the object as a subject, it takes my experiences as me. I hate you, honey. So it becomes, that hatred is an object. I don't recognize it. So there are two multiple objects. One is the honey and other is the hatred. But both has come from the thought. So that is why being carefree. Oh, that is why being carefree? Yes. Minutely at a very subtle level, with a great attention, with a great detail. You don't allow to get carried away by any object. I just explained, I hate this guy. So one is a hatred is an object, and the object of knowledge is a hatred. It's a pure negative emotion, and then it is borrowed by the I-ness, and it says, I don't like this person, and the consciousness remains unchanged behind it. But now mind jumps so fast between the hatred and the object, hatred and the object. You cannot, uh, you don't have a abstract hatred. It has to be with an object. The mind is obsessed with that object with a pure negative emotion. That is what the impure mind, it is blocking me to recognize that I am the pure consciousness. I am, or here I am carefree. So that is why what I said, being carefree, free from all the cares of the mind. All the cares? Yes, all the cares of the mind. How it cares? By the thought. What is a thought? Thought is a product of knowledge. It has four elements: object, knowledge of an object, knower plus the consciousness. So in every experiences, in every perception, I'm coming to a most beautiful point you have to remember all the time. What is that? In all my perceptions, in all my experiences, in all the thought that occurs in the mind, has nothing to do with me. They are all objects. Behind that, there is a consciousness. So I recognize the unchanging nature of that consciousness. There is another way to put it. You have a thought, I love my honey. For example, limitation of the senses and the mind. So that limitedness of the mind causes the conditional love. Conditional love depends on attachment. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's how I have been searching my love in the world. There is no my love in the world. You are the love. The master will prove later. So that consciousness is the ultimate knower. What is meditation? Just de-identify. What you have to de-identify? The object, the knowledge of an object, and the knower who claims it is the mind or I or ego. Because if you do not de-identify, how do you de-identify? Just know it. How I identify myself from the computer? I know that I'm separate from it. You don't need a practice. Are you getting it? Every thought De-identification, that is damn difficult. That is a big challenge. So that is why I laid down the foundation of 360-degree understanding, four connections, Mangalacharan. So sometimes people feel that, oh, we should not do it. Oh, I can directly live in a moment. And that does not happen. I have seen that, a lot of people. And the most important point from where I have started today's talk and bringing it here. So that consciousness is uniform all the time. It is uncreated. Yes, because it remains present, in the when there is a thought, perception through the eyes, when there is a thought of experience through my ears or through the sound or through the touch or yes, experiences are changing, perceptions are changing, thoughts are changing, but the consciousness that is uncreated. But the rest are always changing. I'm not able to see what is unchanging in the midst of changing. By only five sense organs. And every sense organ has millions of objects. And millions of objects have millions of the thoughts. That's where the wandering mind is. And then I say, I am this, I am this, I am that. So I get lost. I lose awareness of what is unchanging, what is uncreated. I believe you're getting it. Well, I'm just reflecting. I'm reflecting for you, and you just see the separation. Oh, unchanging, uncreated, and here is what is created will have to die. Any thought that has come will leave soon. Why should I worry? Why should I control it? Can you tell me any thought from the day one when you had that thought, it is still staying or it stays 24 by 7? The master says, why you are worrying about it unnecessarily? You just recognize they are temporary, they are constantly changing. They have come to go. They are born to die. Why to worry? Waking state. Why to worry? So you see, many other masters uses this outward directed consciousness. What is outward directed consciousness? It is the mind. Mind borrowed the consciousness in itself, then it gave it to the sense organs, then the sense organ gave it to the millions of objects. That is known as the outward directed consciousness. And then the mind returns again, it creates a thought, feeling, and emotions. There are millions of the thoughts, millions of variety of objects, a variety of experiences. Sense of ego is strongly present. Because I'm experiencing this. The consciousness remains unchanged, unborn, uncreated. Today you are following this path. Tomorrow you will listen, the consciousness will remain the same. Five sense organs. I just talked in the very beginning, five motor organs, five organs of action, five Energy, means five prana. We use it. Inward and the outward breath, apana, the downward air, five. And the five internal instruments, the mind, memory, intellect, and the ego. The 19 instruments I talked about it in a waking state is active. In a waking state, consciousness, so called, is identified with the body in the mind complex because of ignorance, because of misunderstanding, and experiences the world through these instruments. And I have a misunderstanding. I have a wrong notion. For example, we have a wrong notion. If I say you are crazy, this is perfectly a wrong notion. It's a body mind complex. It is an experience of body mind complex, not of the consciousness. If you have understood the last 6, 7 talks, understood the principle you are repeating every day, it is not a big deal that you are in that state. Why I said so? So once you have understood, there is a clear distinction between the subject and the object, knower and the known, the seer and the seen, perceiver and the perceived. How we enter into that state of the mindfulness by understanding the very nature of the waking state. What is that? Five sense organs, five motor organs, and variety of objects, and variety of thoughts, and variety of experiences are like the waves in an ocean, and ocean remains the same. Oh, see the beauty and the penetration. One has to listen again and again, and then you have to start reflecting, contemplating, arguing in your own mind until you will see the mind then is scared of creating any thought. Why is that scared? Mind merges into the consciousness. What is that state? It is a mindfulness state. Then what happens? You stop talking? No, you talk. Separation is there. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it in your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. We'll share our experience. Oh, you did not understand. Read, listen to it again. Still, I don't know. Listen to it again. but we don't do that. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you. First part of the lesson, spent a little bit of time contemplating and reflecting on the necessities topic, and realizing that we have to do things that are necessary. We just don't have to. We don't have to be. We don't have to like what we're doing. We don't have to find happiness in those necessities because it doesn't exist. And therefore it then led into this. I understand that there is one consciousness, and I understand that it's unchanging, and so I trying to take the necessity aspect of things and contemplate and reflect as you were talking, and as we got to right before closing our eyes, I realized that the consciousness exists and it is unchanging while everything else isn't. Therefore, it again goes back to the logic that you talk about, the mathematical equations that you put together, is that all that other stuff is changing. I don't need to worry about it. It's going back to Thursday. I don't need to put the power to that. That the focus has to be on the consciousness, because if I focus that direction, then I can really focus in on the real self and the I am, and all that other stuff is just stuff. It's I won't call it the necessities, but it's things that just doesn't matter. And when I closed my eyes for the non-practice, whatever it is, respectfully, I didn't hear anything. I fell into such a deep state of of nothingness that I'm probably going to have to re-listen to this
Yep.
without closing my eyes to hear what you said in the part closing the eyes. So thank you.
Beautifully said. You explained beautifully the first part. I invoked about one, two, three, four basic fundamental principles, and one of the principle is a necessity. Necessity means what? I eat food. I eat food. It is a necessity. Necessity means that I don't need it 24 by 7. I feel cold. I wear the warm clothes in the winter, and I change the clothes. You see, I change the clothes. Experience is cold, experience is warmth, I change it. But that is only a necessity, that is only a need. What I want, peace 24 by 7, happiness 24 by 7, love 24 by 7, freedom from anxiety 24 by 7. So the master says that is you, real self. You don't recognize it because of the ignorance. So one is a necessity and other is the purpose, goal of life. That is how beautifully you have put it. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Great, thank you. The lesson just reinforces the whole level of noise that goes on in our life, and that the goal is to just get beneath or above or however away from it into the consciousness. And when we start to do that, we put in perspective the noise, as I call it, the thoughts, the feelings, the objects, all that kind of stuff just kind of dissipate away. So that was going on for me during the lesson. When we went into the meditation, I just immediately went into the consciousness stage, and sort of to Stephen's point is, I heard you, but I didn't. I just kind of right up until the end.
Yes, you picked up the knower and the known principle. That is the second principle I stressed upon. So when I say the knowledge is equal to object, knowledge of an object plus the knower, here it is ego plus the consciousness. So if you look clearly, only the consciousness is the real knower. The rest are the known. They are the objects. And because of misidentification, wrong notion, we are not able to see it separate, independent. One is constantly changing, other is unchanging. That's what I have been saying it throughout this lesson. Beautifully said. Thank you. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I kind of went to this similar thing about the changing and the unchanging. The instruments and the tools never know consciousness,
Yeah.
but consciousness always knows everything.
Yes.
So there's that sweetness with that, though, where I feel like if we live there, we live there. That's what we are. So we bring that to everything that is changing. So, but we're not changing. But we bring that sweetness to everything that we do.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That is what the principle in Sankhya Yoga is. We say Prakriti and Purusha. We say matter and the consciousness. Matter is constantly changing. Whatever is changing is matter. Mind, intellect, ego, memory, body. That is a part of the creation. What is uncreated is consciousness. That is another way to be aware of it. Beautifully said. Thank you. How are you, Brandy? You give a brand to the knower.
Good, thank you. Thanks for the lesson and meditation today. So I picked up on consciousness not being born, like the body is, which during my meditation led to two things: a whole lot of compassion for my human existence, that's the separateness, and then also some bodilessness, I guess again, that separateness, to be able to say, okay, there's this existence and the known, right? Including the body and the mind, and how that's ever changing and so different from consciousness.
Yeah. And the beauty here, I want to add, it is the pure consciousness, I'm qualifying it. It is the pure consciousness knows the pure consciousness. That the knower abides in itself. And the entire known is perceived separately, whether it is the mind or objects or ego, variety of experiences, pain, pleasure, duality, conflict, etc. They are the part of the changing. What is unborn? That is I am. So when I'm unborn, so there is a freedom from fear of death and birth. Why I have a fear? Because I feel I'm the body. But why I feel I'm the body? Because I identify with it. And then we can explain it. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. Very interesting talk. I noted few points where my own understanding is lacking, and I have to re-listen and recontemplate to improve the clarity of my understanding. And in the meditation, I was contemplating on this ultimate or real knower, that we cannot really say what it is, because it cannot be the object or the known of our thoughts, but we can say what it is not. So by negating, we can arrive at some kind of awareness about this ultimate knower. And also, can we say that this real knower is unmanifested knower?
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Real knower, you see that all our masters say the real guru in this journey is your own real self. First point. Now that real self does not have a mind and a language to teach you because it is unmanifest. So the outer guru is a representative of the real self, because he can use the language and expression. That is where the need of a guru is required. Otherwise, we don't need it. We don't need it. The real self is the absolute truth. It is the absolute teacher. You don't need that. But why we need that? It cannot say anything. It is unmanifest. It does not want to manifest. Why it does not want to manifest? It is not, there is no need. It is already into the state of absolute peace and happiness. That is the point our masters make with what you said. How are you, Terry?
Um, yeah, I thought it was very, very interesting to think of. Yeah, the same thing that Dennis said, that you cannot see and then the self, the real self, you cannot really see it, because then it becomes the object. But I also was really, one thing that stuck with me when you said that you don't find the love anywhere because you are.
You are the love.
That was very interesting. I have to think about that. And yeah, the whole thing is just.
And the moment you recognize you are the love, unconditional love manifests. But as long as I recognize that I love you, it always contains a sense of attachment and identification. You are objectifying the love, which cannot be done.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yes. Beautiful way of contemplation. Beautiful. How are you, Sam, sir?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Very good lesson. I always appreciate you writing things in equations because, or sharing things in equations because they're logical and they make sense to me. So appreciate that one.
I'm
Consciousness,
patting my shoulder.
knowledge. Oh, great. The meditation was very peaceful. I was in a very deep state and felt very good.
Good. Very good. Very good. Yes. And how are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir. Thank you very much for the session. And meditation was good. And yes, I am the peace. I am the consciousness. Thank you.
Yes. Again, I'm repeating, you have to listen to it again and give your own interpretation, cause and effect relationship. Mind says, I have yet to understand it. Listen to it again and understand it. So, moment your mind is absorbed into repeat listening, or maybe one day you have listened to it 5 or 6 times, on the 7th time you say, yes, now I know what beer guy says is what I am now. I can also explain the same thing. And the moment you can give the interpretation through your mind is already pure. It has realized it. You get the spark. You get that understanding. That is all for today. And we will meet again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.